surprise. I held my breath so you'd hear clear. I didn't want you scared of fear. I whispered small so you could find exactly where I stayed behind. Why won't you sing? You always did. You said you would. You said I'm good. Why won't you sing? It's just one word. Just say my name so I'm still heard. I kept your promise in my hands. I didn't move like you had planned. I did it right, I swear I did. Don't make me think you never did. I thought I felt you near my hair. Your hand was warm, then it wasn't there. I thought the dark was almost gone, but morning came and you were wrong. Why won't you sing? You always did. You said you would. You said I'm good. Why won't you sing? I don't need much. I just need proof I still exist. You said I'm here. You said it twice. You told me once that love was nice. I waited still like you taught me, but no one comes when I count 3. Why won't you sing? It hurts to wait. I did my part. Is this too late? Why won't you sing? Please, just one note, so I'll know I'm still here to hold.
I know it's tight. I know it's low. I know the dark is breathing slow. Don't be scared. I'm close, I came. They said I'd stop, they said your name, but not like mine, they said it plain. You're still my boy, that hasn't changed. You're still the hum inside my veins. I brought a spoon, it's not that sharp, but it's enough to break the dark. I'll dig you out, I'll dig you down, through tile and bone, through bedrock sun. I'll dig you out, so stay real still. You did your part, I always will. They strapped me in, I counted walls, I bit my lip to dodge the calls. They thought I slept, I played along, I waited till the lights were gone. I cracked the grout, I pulled the vent, I left a trail. They'll say I meant, they'll find the blood, they'll call it rage, but this is love, this is the cage. I'll dig you out. I brought your name, I held it tight, it didn't stain. I'll dig you out, just stay asleep. I kept the song, I kept it deep. I won't yell, I won't be loud. They'll hear the floor before the sound. And if you're bones and if you're dust, I'll carry that, I'll call it trust. Lie still, my boy, close both your eyes. You don't need light to see the sky. I'll sing it low, I'll sing it clear. If you're afraid, I'm always near. The doctors talk, they think I sleep, they think I break, they think I weep. But I just wait, I just hold on. You asked for some, so here's our song. Hush now, my boy, no need to fear. If you can't move, I'll bring you here. Don't make a sound, don't try to stand. Stay where you are, I'll take your They say you're gone, they say you're bone. They say I'm lost, I'm on my own. But I still feel your heartbeat true. And if it's gone, I'll beat for two. I know the dark, I know the cold. I know you're small, I know you're bold. You kept your word, you did not stray. You stayed inside, I'll find the way. So close your eyes, don't count tonight. I'll keep the path, I'll be the light. Just wait for me, don't slip away. Don't fall asleep, don't fade to gray. Stay still, my boy, don't let go yet. I haven't paid the whole regret. regret. Stay still, my heart, stay where you've been. If you let go, I'll break again. I'm singing now. I kept my vow. I'm coming home. Don't wonder how.
I heard your voice, you found the floor. You called my name, you said there's more. You knocked 3 times, I knocked back 2. You said, hold on, I thought you knew. You said you would, you always do. They pulled you back, I couldn't move. You said you'd stay, you always try. But now it's quiet, you said goodbye. They said I'm dead, but I'm still here. They said you're sick, but you were near. They said he's gone. They said forget, but you're my uncle. You're not done yet. You said you would, you held my name, but now it's cold. It's not the same. You said you'd come, you always knew, but now they say it's not true. I won't be loud, I won't scream, I'll stay small, I won't dream. Just please don't let them make you leave. You said you would, that's what I believe. You said you would, you said I'm good. They took you back, I knew they could. You said you would and maybe you tried, but I'm still here and I don't think I died. Don't think I died. Don't think I died.
The straps dig deep, they like them tight. They talk like I'm not worth the light. They check my pulse, they check my eyes. They say he died, stop making lies. Danny says, you dug him up, you clawed the ground. You didn't stop, you opened bags with your bare hands. You cried his name into the sand. He says his face was torn and gone. He'd been dead weeks, we all saw. He didn't breathe, he didn't stir, he didn't. But he sounds unsure.
nurse adjusts the IV line. She shakes her head, she checks the time. She says he's gone, you know he's gone. You saw the dirt his lungs had drawn. She doesn't ask, she doesn't learn. She wipes the spit I didn't earn. She says you have to let him rest. She says it's soft, like that means blessed. And he sighs, he rubs his brow. He says you aren't protecting now. You held him last, you felt the cold. You tried to warm what couldn't hold. You loved him, yes, we all agree. But all this digging, just let it be. He's buried deep, the case is closed. You'll break yourself if you oppose. They think it's grief, they think I'm stuck. They think I'm caught in corpse and muck. They think I'm scared of what I saw. They think I cracked beneath the law. They never ask the shape I held. They never ask the weight that fell. They never ask the missing part. They never ask. They think I'm dark. Hall paces slow, he cleans his pen. He says, detective, feel again. You know the facts, you saw the scene. You sealed the bag, you wiped him clean. You stay obsessed because it's shame. You failed the boy, you lost the game. You build a tunnel in your head. You think he's under you instead. They hate when I don't explain. They hate the quiet in my brain. They want a reason they can trace. They want a villain they can chase. But I just stare into the tile. I hear a drip, I let it pile. I say it once with broken breath. He isn't dead, not under death. Too hard, he whispers low, you're going far. You saw the grave, you touched the proof. You dragged him out, you cursed the roof. He says you found him, that was real. You need to trust the ones you feel. His voice gets tight, his jawbone shakes. Don't make his death your worst mistake. My throat goes raw, my words go thin. I laugh like I've been skinned again. It wasn't him, is what I think, but what I say, he's underneath. They hate that line, they hate it most. They stamp me down, they call it ghosts. They hide the shovel from my reach. They fear the place that I still teach. They pin my head, they mask my breath. They chant their chorus. Your nephew's dead. Your nephew's dead. Your nephew's dead. I close my eyes, I feel the seam, I whisper wrong. He's under me.
It's too close, it's not air. My arms don't move, my legs are bent. I don't know where my body went. I smell the dirt, it's in my nose. My mouth feels wrong, my fingers froze. Is this the floor? Is this a bed? I can't sit up, I think I bled. Don't let me breathe, dirt, please dig me out. I stayed real still, I didn't shout. Don't let me breathe, dirt, I'm scared, I swear. I think I'm small, I think I'm there. I said your name, but it got stuck. I tried again, but I just choked. It's dark in here, it's in my eyes. I think I screamed, I think it died. The walls are soft, they move when I do. I scratched, I think, but nothing through. The light is gone, there's none at all. The space is tight, the air feels wrong. Don't let me breathe, dirt, it's getting in. It's in my teeth, it's on my skin. Don't let me breathe, dirt, I want to run. I want my house, I want the sun. Where's the couch? Where's the door? Where's the light under the floor? Where's your voice? Where's my coat? Why won't my throat? Won't. Don't let me breathe, dirt, I did it right. I didn't move, I didn't fight. Don't let me breathe, dirt, please dig, just try. If I'm already dead, don't let me die. Don't let me die.
They told me not to open it. Black bag, cold tag, same small fit. They said, detective, please don't see. But I already was on my knees. They said that's him, the coat, the hair. But his hair's too neat, he never cared. He never let me cut the ends. He'd say it hurts, it pulls, it bends. They said you're tired, just let it be. But I know weight, I know degree. He always leaned when he was scared. This one lies flat like he don't care. Too light, too wrong, too soft, too still. They say I broke, I know I will. Too pale, too neat, his lashes full. Michael's never looked that dull. Too light, too clean, they call it proof. But I know grief, it's got a tooth. He's not the one that flinched from cold. They say he's gone, I say not so.
called it closure, closed the door. I said he's smaller than before. Hall said that's lost, that's how it goes. I said he shakes, his fingers froze. They said of course the body's cold. I said no, he hates the cold. They laughed, you think that matters now? I said it does, you'd know how. Danny sighed, he rubbed his face. Said he's gone, just leave this place. But I can't mourn what isn't true. There's breath left under what they knew. Too light, too wrong, the nails too clean. Michael bit them till they'd bleed. Too smooth, too calm, too slow the fall. He always curled up when he'd stall. Too neat, too fast, they zipped, they signed. They left his shoes, they weren't his kind. You think I cracked, but all I see is that you buried him, not me. They keep a record what I said, how I sat beside the dead. They say I whispered, breathe again. They call that madness, I call it Ken. He's too light, he's not my son. I carried him through darker runs. He never weighed this little weight. He never laid his hands that straight. They tell each other grief distorts, but grief remembers every sort. The way he hummed when storms would break, the sound his wrist made when he'd shake. Too light, too clean, too far to reach. They talk of sanity, then preach. Too smooth, too kind, he'd never lie. He'd twitch awake before goodbye. They say he's gone, I say he's near. They call it madness, I call it clear. If that's not him beneath the ground, then tell me why I hear the sound. I hear the sound.
They tied me down, they took my belt. They said too loud, too much you felt. But I still heard it tap, tap, pause. Not the vents, not faulty gauze. I bit my cheek, my wrists were tight. The room was fog, the floor was light. But underneath the frame I swore, tap, 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 then 3 taps more. Tap, tap, pause. I taught him that too slow one, he's saying back. They think it's heat, a busted pipe, but grief don't drum in perfect type. Tap, 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 pause. I match the beat. They stitch my mouth. I use my feet. He taps like breath, he taps like fear. They call it ghosts, but he's still near. I blink too slow, my blood feels thick. They say he's gone, I say not quick.
They count the drips, they miss the code. The way we speak when no one's told. Tap, tap, pause, it's not decay. It's how he begs me not to stray. He never speaks where walls can hear, but tap, tap long means I'm still near. Tap, 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 pause, I taught it clear. He says don't go, I'm buried here. I scratch my heel against the brace. I tap my hope into the space. Long tap, short, one tap, three. That's how he signed his name to me. They plug my arms, they mute the light, but I still tap. He taps all night. They check the chart, they count my lies. They say delusion never dies, but I know code, I wrote the rule. Tap, pause, tap, it breaks their tools. His fingers speak in blood and dust. They silence me, but I still trust. If he still taps, then I still breathe, even strapped beneath belief. Tap, pause, tap, he taps my name. I tap back his, not quite the same. One tap, three, tap, pause, two, long tap, short, then one, then two. That's MICHAEL, slow. My hands are tied, but still I show. They say he's gone, they say be still, but I will tap until he will. Did you eat at all today? Not much, just tell me anyway. Is your coat still on your chest? It's warm enough to help you rest. Did your hand stop shaking yet? What color is the dark you get? Can you smell the sheets from home? I sprayed them twice before you'd go. Do you want the window light or just the stars to say goodnight? Are your shoes still double tied? Did you press your thumb to hide? Do you need me counting slow? Do you want the taps or no? Did I teach you left from west? Do you still remember rest? Ooh. What would you eat if I could bring bread with honey, something sweet? Do you want me to hum that tune you asked for once alone in June? Is the ground too loud to sleep? Should I count you into dreams? Tap the rhythm, just the one. I'll match it back, then I'll be done. If I could this floor. I'd give you breath, I'd ask no more. I'd trade my name to keep you warm. I'd break my hands to calm your storm. I'd hum till sleep forgot your fear. I'd turn my ribs to keep you near. But all I have is air and ache, and neither helps and neither stays. I'm talking just to fill the dark. My voice keeps cracking where you are. I'm running out of things to say. I can't. I want. I'd give. Just stay. Do you still like soft or firm? Is the corner wet or warm? Do you think the roots can hear? They're quiet now, but still near. If the air feels thin and tight, tap once for no and twice for right. You're still mine, you're still my blood. Don't forget your name, your breath. I'll dig through death. I'll dig through death.
I did eat, but not a lot. It tasted like the metal cot. The coat still zipped, it hides my chest. It smells like you, it helps me rest. My hands shake less if I stay still. The dark is black, but tinted ill. The sheets don't smell like home just yet, but I pretend I try, I let. I like the stars, not window light. It makes me think it's really night. My shoes are tied, I double-checked. I pressed my thumb, it hurt my neck. I'm counting slow the way you taught. The taps, I use them, I forgot. I mean, I didn't, I still do. But sometimes I just listen through. I'd eat the bread with honey, yes. I'd eat it slow, I'd make it last. You used to hum that summer song, the one from June. I hum along, the ground is loud, it creaks and hums. don't know if you understand. You said you'd come, you always do. You never lied, you always knew. But I am tired and getting small, and even dreams can start to crawl. The air is thick, my ribs are sore. It hurts to blink, it hurts to floor. You said don't talk if you're afraid, but silence hurts more than the blade. I'm folding hands, I'm laying flat. I still like soft, you knew that. The corner's wet, it smells like dust. I pretend it's your shirt, I must. I don't know if the roots can hear, but I told them you're very near. And when the air turns sharp and tight, I tap twice fast to make it right. I'm trying, uncle, I'm still here, but time's gone wrong and thoughts aren't clear. My name feels far, my hands feel numb, my voice won't work, my chest won't hum. I didn't leave, I didn't run, I just went quiet, just went numb. You said you'd come, I think you are. The floor is warm, you're not that far. I said my name beneath my teeth. It cracked, it broke, I said it's sweet. I curled up small, I tried to rest. I wore your coat, I did my best. You said don't stop, you said just stay. So I'll stay here, I won't decay. I'll tap again, I'll wait for breath, and dig with hands and dig through death.
Two taps back, you heard me clear. That sounds the one I taught you, dear. They call it noise, they call it wrong, but I know your hands, they're still that strong. You're not cold, you're not gone. I feel your pulse beneath the song. Tap once more, I'll match it in. I'm still right here, I'm still your kin. Leave him, stop that. I bite my tongue, I won't react. Detective off the floor, release. That's not the floor, that's where he speaks.
I hear you, I swear. Your echo cuts the air. He's right here, he's right here. Don't pull me, don't you dare.
Let me count the seams, the lines, that rhythms is it's mine. Don't close that door, don't block that tone. It's Michael, he's my own. Three quick, one slow. I taught him so. It's not the pipes, it's not the walls, it's the way his heartbeat calls. Danny, don't you know that beat? That's his breath beneath my feet. Not the air, not the ground, that's him I found. Hold him down, get the cuffs, he's looping grief, enough's enough. They say sedation, say I'm sick, but it's him, it's not a trick. You said stay, I swore I would. I'd tear my arms apart if I swear they're cutting through the air. Don't take my hands, don't stop this sound. Don't let him sink back underground. Tap again, just one. Even if I'm done, even if I sleep too long, I'll still be here. Still strong. One tap, son. Just one. So I know you're still. I won't go down, I swear I won't. I'm breathing slow, I'll stay, I don't. Just need the strap a little loose. It cuts my wrist, see? Not an excuse. You're kind, I know I see your face. You fix the sheets, you check my brace. Just one small shift, I won't escape. You're doing great, you're doing great. She nods, she leaves, the lock clicks tight. I count her steps, left, right. Good night. Her pen uncapped, my hand just twist. It slips behind the inner wrist. I bite my sleeve, I hold the snap. One silent crack, no time to map. The tiles are cold, the hall is black. I find the vent, I don't look back. But there, beneath my cell, that hum again, that smell, that spell. The grout is soft, the dust gives way. I claw the seam with metal flake. It cuts my palm, I don't let go. He's right beneath, I feel it low. And then a crack, a shift, I slice a gleam of light through broken tile. One eye's with down, I see his face. My throat stops cold, my hands misplace. He's strapped below, machines are red. The wires run around his head. His arm is bare, his chest is bruised. The ports are marked, the line is fused. He doesn't scream, he doesn't cry. He looks straight up and blinks one eye. His mouth moves slow, he says my name, then taps once more, exact the same. I'm cool, he says don't go. He says you came, he says they lied. He says, and I've dug 100 times. Each time they say I've lost my mind. Each time they call it grief or guilt. Not proof, not blood, not what we built. Each time they patch the floor again. They call him dead, they drug my skin. But I knew the seam, I knew the mark. I knew he knocked back in the dark. split the seam, I rip the grout, I brace the beam. I reach one hand, he grabs it fast. I pull, I scream, the vent won't last. The wires snap, the gurney shifts. I drag him free through blood and grit. He's light, too light but warm. He breathes, he clutches me, he doesn't leave. You're here, you're real, you're not a ghost. You knew I'd come, you held me close. They said you'd gone, they lied again. But I have you now, I have you then. I press my gown around his skin. He flinches once but lets me in. His head drops down against my chest. I count the beats, I call it rest. A voice behind, how strange this scene. Halls tone like knives, too sharp, too clean. You found your boy, that much is true. Now hand him back, he's not for you. I clutch him close, I bare my teeth. Over me I say, or not beneath. Hall just nods very well. He lifts his hand, then calls for help. They flood the hall, they take his arms, they pull him slow with quiet harm. He calls for me, I bite the floor. My chest caves in, I reach no more. You got him back, Hall says with grace. Just long enough to lose the face. They drag him back through metal light, and I go blind, and I go white. The space I tore, don't fix the crack, don't clean the floor, don't lie again. I saw him breathe, you cut him out from underneath. I had him here, I touched his name. He knew me still, he felt the same. You took him back, you said it's right, then turned the sun back into night. I swear I've done this all before. This tile, this dirt, this cursive floor. But this time he looked at me. This time he said, he said, he said.
The world sways slow beneath my back. A strap across my chest goes slack, then tight again. He likes it firm. It makes me small, it makes me learn. His breath leans warm beside my cheek. I hear him speak the way he speaks when he assumes I'm half asleep. You shook the tile, he murmurs low. Your uncle made the floorboard show. He tore the grout with both his hands. One little knock and he expands. I try to breathe, my ribs won't rise. He presses down to stabilize. Relax, he hums, you're not in pain. We only moved you while they strain to fix the mess he made again. You know that man, he digs like sin. The word dig scrapes through my skin. My fingers twitch, the leather wins. You always wake him when you tap. He hears it through the walls and gap. He simple job, 2 minutes blue. A cloth, a breath, a whispered count. Children fall fast when fumes amount. My throat clicks tight, he hears the try. He hushes me before I cry. A body dressed to look like you. Burnt fingertips, no prints to view. No dental chart, no eyes to track. Just size and clothes, that's all they lack. His breath stays warm against my ear. Too close, too soft, too shaped for fear. He wouldn't name the corpse as you, so grief became his point of view. A tidy case of psychosis. Poor man broke from what he misses. My heartbeat ticks beneath the brace. He smooths the bruises on my face. You were the hinge to make him fall. A broken mind, a grieving wall. If he insists his boy still breathes, no one trusts the truth he sees. A needle slips into my vein. The cold runs sharp. A narrow pain. This swears you knock beneath his bed. He swears you move, he swears you bled. The staff all sigh, poor man's undone. Not one believes what he leans on. He checks each band with practiced care. A pause of cloth, a shift of air. You live because you're useful, boy. A breathing ghost, a perfect cloy. A silent child beneath the floor keeps brilliant men from knowing more. The sedative begins its slide. My eyelids fall, my muscles hide. Stay quiet when he walks above. One tap is proof, no more my love. No louder knocks, no shining through. We can have staff believing you. You break him slowly, day by day. As long as you are kept this way, his warnings fade, his questions drown. His badge rubs out, his name breaks down. My breathing thins to something weak. His fingers brush along my cheek. And when he's ruled unfit to lead, to hold a gun or file a plea, Hollow Brook thrives and I am free. A latch clicks faint, his steps retreat, and I am kept beneath his feet. Under him, alive below, the place he keeps me when he knows.
The lights hum sharp behind my eyes. The straps bite in my breathing lies. Below me, shaking small and tight, a child curls back into night. 2 sets of steps, they scrape a pull. Danny's voice low, sharp and full. The autopsy too neat, too clean. His ribs were bruised, his chest was lean. All answers calm, you saw what's not. Grief makes you chase what reason fought.
But I know that tone, that hush, that pause. It's how he sounds before a clause. A death, a cleanup made to hide the boy beneath I swore won't die. So I slam the bed frame one, then two. Danny jumps, hey partner, that you. But all misreads, he thinks it's pain. He doesn't know I struck to fame. Because one more word, one step too close, and Michael's breath becomes a ghost. One bag, one crate, one quiet floor, one son I'll never see no more. Danny presses, the jaw was off. Why wasn't anyone called aloft? Hall adjusts his gloves, his stare spills ice, he scans the sterile air. Michael's gone still, he doesn't stir. I feel his fear like fevered burr. And Danny hears the wrongest stress. He doesn't know why I regressed. I choke, I shake, I hold my breath to keep my son away from death. Because if Danny sees what's near, if truth gets close, if steps get clear, then Hall will move before we show, and Michael's breath becomes a ghost. No tag, no trace, no time to plead. Just vanish where the floorboards bleed. So I go still, I play it mad to shield the only home I had. My nephew, my own flesh, my kin, the one they'd never let back in. And I will die before I see his body bagged in front of me. I know you're there, I felt you brace. Just keep your breath, don't leave your place. I've got you, son, just wait, stay low. They'll leave soon, then I'll come below. The lights burn holes behind my eyes, a low white hum that never dies. The straps carve welts across my skin. I shake too much to hold my chin. The room still tilts from all they've done, shock creeping slow through marrow bone. I press my ear against the floor, because that's where hope still knows the door. The door swings wide with quiet dread. Danny steps in like someone dead. He scans my cuffs, his shoulders sink. Like watching me hurts more than he thinks. You're getting worse, he whispers near, his voice too soft to carry fear. You're slipping fast, you're barely you. I don't know what else
else I can do. If you just say the boy is gone, I'd get you out, I'd bring you home, I'd fight the board, I'd break the chain, I'd drag you out of all this pain. You were the one I trusted most, back when we chased down every ghost. You saved my life more times than twice. You don't deserve this sacrifice. The rail to stay upright, his jaw locked tight from some old fight. You're haunting places that won't heal, you're talking to a floor that's steel. I let his words fall where they land, grief washing through him hand by hand. He thinks I'm lost in memory's grip, not listening for the buried script. But under me, a breath to slide, a tremor stirs beneath the night. A careful tap, a softened plea, a pulse that doesn't come from me. Danny stops cold mid-sentence there, his breath caught tight like winter air. He looks straight down but shakes his head, denial filling where truth spread. He says a brittle lie, old buildings creak, they always try, but fear threads through the words he speaks, a crack of truth behind his cheeks. Tap, pause, tap, the pattern known, a child's call through dust and stone. My chest goes weak, my heartbeat thin, I feel that rhythm pull me in. Don't answer that, Danny insists, his voice a tremor in his fists. It isn't him, it isn't real. This place distorts the things you feel, but doubt slips underneath his tone, the kind he used to chase alone. His certainty begins to shake, the kind of tremble truth can make. I lift my heel, one quiet trace, a single tap to mark the place. Tap one low A, whispered call, not loud enough to reach the hall. Danny staggers like struck from behind, his breath goes sharp, his eyes go blind. Don't, he pleads but can't deny the way that sound replied to mine. Then under us, beneath the seam, another tap cuts through the dream. Tap, tap, pause, the code once shared, the kind you build when hearts are paired. Danny pales to something sick, a truth too heavy, too specific. He backs away, his voice undone, his certainty no longer won. I close my eyes against the ache, I tap again though muscles shake. Tap, tap, pause, the plea I send, the rhythm only he'd defend. And he flinches hand to chest, like hearing that has split his breath. And underneath the boy taps back, a living pulse through concrete black. And everything Danny swore as true breaks open where the tapping grew. leans closer, inch held tight. He murmurs go and kills the light. She stiffens once but leaves the tray. The door snaps shut, her steps fade away. My wrists still shake from last night's fire. The shocks left ghost along each wire. He frees the straps with careful hands and steadies me before I stand. Your eyes, he says, you're barely here. I hate to see you strapped this near. He checks my pulse, then looks aside, like something in him's trying to hide. I read the files, every page. No missing prints, no secret cage. No altered charts, no second form. No hidden child beneath this storm. He drags a hand across his face. You raise that boy with all your grace. And I keep saying he's long gone, but taps like that don't last this long. So here's the truth I shouldn't give. One way to test what memories live. You want the basement, fine, go see. But if you do, then do it clean. He presses something small and cold into my palm like something bold. A metal switch, a single beep. One signal, just one, that's the leap. You flip it once, I'll break the lock. I'll bring in help, I'll clear the block. But only press it if it's real. If what you hear is breath, not feel. If you are wrong, they'll keep you here. The straps, the shocks, the final gear. You'll vanish in this place for good. They'll break you worse than anyone could. So swear to me you'll use it right. No desperate hope, no blind cast night. You find him, press, I'll come full speed. You don't, then leave, that's all you need. My throat is ash, my breath won't land. I only nod, he lifts my hand. You're shaking bad, he whispers low. This isn't who I used to know. But underneath the medic sting, beneath the hum of everything, a tapping starts, faint, thin, unseen. The code that splits the dark between. He doesn't hear it, never does. He only sees what damage was. Yet still his jaw goes tight with fear. Don't make me lose you down there here. He helps me stand, I nearly fall. My vision drags against the wall. He slips the switch into my fist. Whatever happens, keep to this. He squeezes once, don't trick your head. And if you're wrong, his face goes dead. You come back up, you walk, you stand. You don't chase ghosts across this land. Then softer close so guards won't hear. A coded whisper meant for years. If something loud cuts through this place, that's when you move, that's when you race. When halls sound wrong, don't freeze, don't wait. That's your one chance, your open gate. He steps back slow, go while you can. I'll cover you the best I can. He meets my eyes, his breath unplanned. If you're wrong, I'll understand. But if you're right, his jaw turns sand. Follow the noise, you'll know my hand. The room tilts hard, I try to stand. The key burns deep. The key in my hand.
Hall checks the tube, my skin feels worn. He hums like I'm already gone. He straps me tight, no shakes, no slips. I clench my jaw, I bite my lips. He wipes my cheek, avoids my eyes. He says no tears, just lullabies. But his hand is wrong, his care's a cage. And somewhere above me there's rage. A siren cracks, the walls go red. My lungs pull tight, I lose my thread. Hull turns too soon, he mutters low. This floor stays locked, they mustn't know. He seals the door, he dims the light. He tugs the tube to choke me right. He leans in close, don't make a sound. I bite my tongue, I don't look down. Because I can't move and I can't cry. He'd take my voice before goodbye. He says this isn't pain, just proof. But I hear feet above the roof. The ceiling shakes, I smell burnt dust. A voice calls out, check every duct. Hall grips my face, his jaw is tight. He knows they're close, he knows they might find the bolt he forgot to seal. The breath beneath he swore to steal. And then I hear it barely near, a quiet tap, my soul shifts gear. I freeze, I know that pattern's beat. I learned it first from hands that keep. One tap, two tap, slow then near. I mouth the word, uncle's here. Hall whispers sharp, that's not for you. He plugs the sound with cloth and glue. He snores, go still, or he won't leave. But still I listen, still I breathe. The straps go numb, the lights go bare. Hall paces like he feels him there. And even though my throat won't clear, I say it once. My uncle's near.
The siren hits, my vision snaps. A red light drowns the ceiling gaps. My knees give out, I hit the floor. The shock still burns along my core. The walls all shake, the vents spit heat. I brace my palm, drag up my feet. The hallway screams with boots and shouts. Evac the wing, move patience out. But louder still, the code I know, the noise he promised. Time to go, my chest caves in, my throat goes dry. I force one breath, I try to rise. My legs give twice, the world turns white. I clutch the frame to steal my sight. My fingers shake, my wrists still burn, but I push off the only turn. A guard runs past with keys in hand. He shouts a floor I barely understand. He leaves the stairwell latch undone. A mercy gift, a loaded gun. The siren stabs down through my skull. The world goes thin, the corners dull. I stagger left, my shoulder scrapes. The hall tilts wide like broken shapes. The shock still twitches through my spine. My jaw keeps clenching out of line, but underneath the metal spread, I feel that pull, that hum, that thread. I limp past nurses shouting names. They flip their charts, they curse the flames. A gurney jams the exit rail. I slip beneath it, breathing still. The stairwell door is bleeding red. The light drips thick like something dead. I grab the rail, my arms give slack. I drag my weight, I don't look back. Every step vibrates through my bones. 1,000 echoes, pulsing tones. I hear his taps, faint, far and low. Not loud enough, but still I know. My vision blurs, the walls collapse. The siren fractures into snaps. A handrail slip, I catch, I choke. My ribs feel bruised from every stroke. The lower floors grow strangely still. The air is heavy, thick with chill. The noise above turns soft and smeared, like all the chaos disappeared. My breath goes sharp, my heart won't tread. This silence feels like something fled. I reach the landing, one step more. I brace my palm against the door. The metal's warm, not cold like night. The gap beneath leaks out a light. I push it slow, my fingers shake. My knees give out with all they take. The latch hums once like warning tone. I know this place, I'm not alone. The door swings wide with no one there. No guards, no staff, no breath, no air. The hinges creak like something torn. And then I see the light below. The basement door is already open.
The siren cracks the room in half. The lights flash red, then white, then chaff. My bed jerks hard, the wheels all shake. I taste a wire, my fingers ache. Haul on hooks, tubes with hurried clips. His gloves leave bruises on my wrist. He mutters up, no time to cry. His voice stays flat, too calm to lie. He called to lie. He pulls me off the tilted bed. face is slick with sweat and ash. I fall then crawl, the hall lights crash. I see a cart tipped on its side, a perfect cave for someone small to hide. I shove inside on shaking knees. My breath is heat, my throat can't breathe. Hall steps are slow, they never change. Not scared, not fast, just something strange. The kind of walk that always ends right where your hiding place begins. He clicks his pen, an awful sound. The echoes chase me underground. Michael, he calls like naming toys. Come out enough, no little ploys. The cartwheels shift from his light push. I try to shrink into the crush. My chest hurts sharp, my vision swims. He moves the cart with steady limbs. The siren screams, the world turns bent. His shadow cuts across the vent. I press my hands against my ears, but shadows still get through your fears. He crouches down, his voice is low. There's nowhere safe for you to go. He lifts the edge, the dark folds back. The hiding spot becomes too slack. His glove slides in, cold, tight, exact. I try to scoot, but strength I lack. His fingers brush my ankles track. I warned you, soft, not harsh, not slack. Now come out, it's time, come back.
The dark hits hard, no solid ground. My feet slip twice, I hear the sound of metal dragged across the floor. A shape bent low beside a door. A reaching hand, a gloved slow pull. A whisper thin, a shadow full. I grab that wrist before thought comes. I yank it back till bone plate hums. Hall hits the wall with one sharp crack. His breath spills thin, he twists, fights back. He hisses, careful, you might miss. I slam him once, he laughs at this. The siren claws the basement air. Fluorescent light cuts thin and spare. The gurney glows in sickly white. The same damn spot beneath my night. My hands shake wild, my ribs feel torn. The shock still burn from early morn, but rage holds steady in my spine. I pin him hard, where is he? Mine. Hall wipes the blood along his sleeve. He smiles slow like asking leave. You truly really think you get him back? I drive my fist, his head snaps slack. Speak now, I snarl, you think I'm blind. You think I'll break, you think I'll bind. He chuckles low with rotten breath. You never learn to tell from death. I slam him down, the floorboards groan. He arches up, I crush the bone. Beneath his wrist against the tiles, he gasps a word, then twists to smiles. You dug and dug, he murmurs thin, but never understood what's been. You thought the shadows under you were nightmares. No, they're what I do. I shake him hard, where did you run? Tell me where you put my son. His grin spreads wide in broken light. It wasn't hard, not even slight. One van, one door, one taped up night. He sighs, you didn't even fight. You slept, you trusted, left him warm. I picked him clean, no need for storm. My vision splits, my jaw goes sharp. I choke on breath, my lungs breathe tarp. I slam his head against the grate. Say it again, you took his fate. He wheezes easy, smirks through pain. You're hardly strong, you're hardly sane. I moved him down, I picked the floor. I kept him where you'd hear him more. A shadow flits along the wall. Small, so small, not him, not tall. My breath stops dead, my eyes go wide. I swear I see him trying to hide. I blink, it's gone, just dark, just blur. A trick of shock, a shadow stir. Danny's words hit like cracked bone. Only pull the switch if he's found. Only if he's real, only if he's known. All sees it break across my face. He tilts his head, he loves this place. You're seeing ghosts, he whispers low. You're hearing things that never grow. You're digging children in your mind. You're losing what you hope to find. I lift him up, I shake his frame. Speak truth, I growl, you played this game. You lied, you staged, you burned his death. You faked the weight, you stole his breath. All smile cuts beneath the noise. I kept him close, I kept my toys. You dug the floor, that part was sweet. You almost touched your missing feet. But every time his voice turns proud, I pulled him back before you bowed. The room tilts left, the shadows swim. A tiny sound, too soft, too slim. A breath, a shift, a quiet drag. My heart drops low, my muscles snag. He's here, he's close, his shape half spun. I rasp, Michael, tell me where you run.
Michael, you can come out now, son.